Hey guys, welcome back to Teague's Kitchen. I'm going to be making some lightly fried chicken today for you guys, and it has two sides: white rice, plain white rice, if we can get it that way. I don't normally ever add salt or any kind of seasoning to it. I used to add bouillon to it, and I don't anymore, just to stay healthy. And now I'm taking off some fat on some chicken that I have here. I'm going to save every little piece that I can, fry it up, make it taste nice, and then I will tenderize it with a nice little tenderizing method that I have. I use a fork. Some people would use a tenderizing hammer. I prefer to use the fork if I can. It's a little bit easier. Yeah, so we'll see how it goes today, guys. So I'm going to cut this chicken breast in half all the way down, and then I'm going to trim off any excess fat that we have to make the chicken as lean as we possibly can. So all that fat is gone. Now I'll work my way to the other side of this, trimming off some of this fat. Now I have my fat trimmings to the right, and I have my healthy meat that is come off of the chicken itself. And place my hand and palm like this, cutting in to the chicken. Keeping all fingers out of the way. And we have this slice. I'm going to make another one if I can. Lightly cutting off excess pieces of the chicken here. And these are nice, decent sized pieces, nice tender pieces. They can be filleted and cooked. So now I'm going to cut them in half if I can, and then tenderize them with the fork method that I have. So whenever you cut your chicken, you want to cut it just right, to where you have even strips of chicken, not too big, not too small. And then move everything you have into a separate dish, to the left or right, whichever you prefer. I'm predominantly right-handed. Now I'm filleting other pieces as thin as I possibly can. You can get a lot out of one hearty breast. Here's all these. I'm going to work on this bigger piece right here that is filleted all the way down. Normally you'll cut against the grain of the meat. When chicken's raw, it's hard to find the grain. As you can see, the grain goes like this in a different type of pattern. But with this, we're just going to go as thin as I possibly can with a sharp fillet knife. Always sharpen your knives. Keep your nails trimmed, hands washed. Now when you cook your meat, cook it at a medium temperature, not too high, not too low. Make sure your meat will cook at a decent temperature. Let your grease get hot, of course. Keep all fingers out of the way, your palm if you can, and cut down into the meat, not into the palm of your hand. Get as much out of one breast as you possibly can, and you can stretch it as thin as possible. Now I'll fillet another piece for us. On my last video, I made a London broil for you guys, and it came out quite nice. And I kept calling it a Boston broil because I wasn't paying attention to what I was cooking. And it came out very nice. Very nice tasting as well. So now I'm cutting this chicken, saving as much meat as I possibly can. So when you're cutting into your chicken, it's very thin, very lean meat, so you want to take off the fat as quickly as you can while you're cutting. It's very easy to cut yourself while you're messing with a very thin meat. And it's naturally very lean itself. It's not a very fat meat like beef or pork. There's very little fat on chicken. And also in some parts of the chicken you'll have tendons that are still left inside the meat, which isn't good. So now I will cut into the chicken, continuing to remove off any tendons or fat that's left on to the meat. Removing it as quickly as I can. When you butcher your meat, make sure that you get as much out of your meat as you possibly can. Don't hardly leave any meat left on your bones or anything that you could eat. Always get your money's worth. That's what you always want to do when you're cooking. Get everybody your money's worth, which is very important. Pay a good price for your meat. Meat's expensive nowadays. So cut your meat evenly and thin. As thin as you can if possible. The thinner the better. Fillet knife always works best. You can cut way differently into your meat. Okay. Big strips are fine. Get as much out of the breast as you possibly can. Okay. Everything looks nice, and this is just 3 large breasts that you can fillet. Okay guys, so I'm going to try to fillet this as quickly as I can. My battery on my camera is dying, so try to get this done as quickly as I can. So the rice is already on the stove. All I have to do is add some water and turn it on. When you cook your rice, make sure you add some olive oil. I prefer olive oil. Some people use canola or vegetable oil. Olive oil is healthier for your heart. It's not a very fatty type of oil, and it's better for the immune system, which is what I prefer out of it. I just feel healthy after eating olive oil, and it adds a different type of flavor to the meat when you're cooking. Okay, so I'm going to trim off what's left of a tendon and some fat right here on the edge as thin as I possibly can. There's that all gone. Okay, all the fat that I can possibly get is really off of this now. Now let's begin to take this apart. And something that I might forget to mention from time to time, always rinse your meats while you're cooking. Always rinse your meats while you're cooking. You always want your meat to be rinsed, get off any blood or anything like that. I always rinse my meats. Some people don't, some people do. Okay. And you can spread a lot from 3 large breasts. You can cut all the way down. Make them as thin as you possibly can. They will stretch. Now cut into the grain, removing the last piece of meat. If your knife is sharp enough, it'll cut straight through the meat, which is what you want. Normally, if there's an extra piece that's thin enough, you can just keep it to the side. I'll try to make 2 out of this if I can. If not, I just keep it as 1. Then tenderize it, and I'm going to remove all of my fat, wash my utensils and the cutting board. Wash your cutting board in hot water, it always helps. Make sure that you have a clean surface to cook on. It's better for you. Rinse your cutting board when you're done. Okay. Cutting board is rinsed. Wipe it off with a paper towel. Okay guys, I'm going to use a fork. Roughly one with 4 to 5 pounds is okay. Take a piece of meat and punch holes into the meat lightly, not too many, and you will tenderize your meat. Do it quickly. This will allow the seasoning to cook into the meat. There's a piece that's done. Now what I'm going to do is pull out a separate dish to put this in. Clear dish for the meat that's been done. Start with a second piece. Move as quickly as you can. The meat will cook just fine.